My God, I hate trucks.
Stories making headlines. The 4.1 trillion peso general appropriations bill about to go on record as the earliest approved budget at the House as the president certifies its urgent passage. On the eve of a deadline set by President Rodrigo Duterte for prematurely released heinous crime inmates to surrender, two convicts in the high-profile Chong sisters rape slay case turned themselves in to authorities. And there's hope in making a better place for Filipinos, the target of the first ever food bank and community center put up in Tondo, Manila. 1 million free meals for the poor. President Rodrigo Duterte has certified as urgent the passage of next year's budget worth 4.1 trillion pesos. In letters dated September 17, Mr. Duterte told the Senate and the House of Representatives that he wants the General Appropriations Bill to be passed immediately. House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Joey Salceda says the House plans to pass a proposed budget next week. He says congressmen received the budget bill on August 20, which means they will approve it after just a month. Salceda says it will be the earliest approved budget at the House in history. The Albay representative says the budget has no pork insertions, but admits each member of the House was given 100 million pesos for local projects. The Supreme Court prohibits pork barrel, which it defines as lump sum, and discretionary funds that are itemized after the budget's approval. Salceda says their allocated budgets are not illegal because they were itemized during budget deliberations.
Well, there's no such thing as non-itemized expenditure there. It also smells, acts, quacks like a need of my constituents.
Okay. So it's not pork, you say?
And it also smells, quacks, and acts as if it's allowed by the Supreme Court.
Not everyone is happy with the revised implementing rules and regulations of the controversial Good Conduct Time Allowance law. While a human rights lawyer sees the positive side of the new rules, he says they also raise legal concerns. But the Justice Department is unfazed. Our Justice correspondent Anjo Alimario reports.
This revised rules and regulations.
It should clear the air on the law expanding the Good Conduct Time Allowance policy. But a lawyer group says the revision of implementing rules and regulations is open to serious legal challenge.
So we feel that wittingly or unwittingly, despite good intentions, presumably, it may be tantamount to executive legislation.
Section 1 of the law expressly excludes heinous crime convicts from availing of good behavior credits to shorten jail time. But Section 3 has no provision about this, and this was reflected in the old implementing rules and regulations, or IRR.
Because the water cannot rise above its source, the rules and regulations cannot expand or even emasculate, for that matter, what is in the law.
National Union of People's Lawyer President Edre Olalia says the new IRR deviates from the purpose of the law.
It should benefit the accused. So if you apply those exclusions as the law stands now via an IRR, then that is expanding or stretching an exclusion to the prejudice of those who would deserve to be granted the time allowances.
Before Republic Act 10592 was passed in 2013, heinous crime convicts are entitled to lesser time allowances under the revised penal code. But those charged and convicted after the law took effect, they're barred from receiving any type of time allowances.
We cannot use the bad examples of Mayor Sanchez, and I agree that he should not be freed, or even the convicted accused in the Chong sisters, as the barometer of whether or not this good conduct time allowance must be applied.
Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara says they are ready to defend the new IRR.
Now, if there is any constitutional objection to excluding certain classes of PDL on the ground of equal protection of the law, then any person who is minded to challenge the law itself should go to the appropriate judicial forum.
While the administration is prepared to face any legal challenge to the new IRR, who will stand up against it in court. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
Malacanang clarifying President Duterte's remark about ordering the ambush of former Daan Bantayan Cebu Mayor Vicente Loot. In a speech last night, President Duterte expressed his frustration that Loot escaped death. The president tagged Loot, a former police general, as a drug protector. Presidential spokesman Salvador Panelo says the president was not behind Loot's ambush and that the president did not mean what he said. Panelo has two explanations for the remark. First, President Duterte still often misspeaks in Filipino. And second, it was a joke. Panelo notes the president is a lawyer and that he knows the consequences of his words. He adds the president only publicly threatens to kill people because it makes for good sound bites for the media.
Sabi niya nga kanina, sila naman, palagi ko nang sinasabi yan. Alam naman nila na ever since, nagbibiro ko tungkol dyan. Apart from yung kumisan, iba nasasabi ko.
The Bureau of Corrections confirmed 2 more of the 4 freed convicts in the rape slay case of the Chong sisters in Cebu have surrendered. Bucor says James Uy and Josman Aznar turned themselves in earlier this evening at the New Bilibid prison.
Dito po sa, nag-proceed lang po dito sa NBP. Nina pong alas 5:38 si Jaime Anthony Uy. Tapos kanina naman na alas 6:13 si Aznar, Josman Aznar. Siyempre po, dino-document, may picture, may documentation kasi ni-issue sila ng ID at verify sa records kung sila yun.
2 other convicts, Ariel Balansag and Alberto Canyo, returned to prison last week. They are part of the Chong 7 who were convicted for the rape slay case of sisters Mary Joy and Jacqueline Chong in 1997. They were all freed under the policy that allows early release based on good conduct. President Duterte gave almost 2,000 heinous crime convicts released through the measure until tomorrow to surrender by Friday. Those who refuse to turn themselves in will be considered fugitives. Mr. Duterte has also offered a 1 million peso bounty for the capture of every heinous crime convict. Newly appointed Bureau of Corrections Chief Gerald Bantag, not new to controversy, but the Justice Department and his mother unit, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, are fully confident that he will deliver. Our George Cahiles has that story.
The explosion inside the Parañaque City Jail in August 2016 is among incidents linked to jail Senior Superintendent Gerald Bantag. Bantag was jail warden when a grenade exploded inside his office during a supposed dialogue with 10 mostly drug suspects. The warden was hurt and was also the sole survivor. Bantag is facing criminal charges for the explosion.
He's charged but has not been convicted. So his innocence is still presumed. So we'll find that out.
2 months after the Parañaque jail blast, Bantag was transferred to the Manila City Jail. There, he separated and reclassified drug suspects. Some detainees carried out a hunger strike which led to a riot. At least 30 inmates were hurt. For his colleagues, these controversies may have stemmed from Bantag's reputation as a disciplinarian.
Senior Superintendent Bantag is follow orders. No? Yung mga rules and regulations namin sa facility. In effect, maraming matatamaan talaga, especially doon sa mga PDL natin, lalo na kung meron silang mga maling practice o maling ginagawa. At sa kanya lang naman, may policy ang BGMP. As a warden, yun lang naman ang pinapatupad niya.
Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara met with Bantag a day after Malacanang announced his appointment. His marching orders: clean up the good conduct time allowance mess, full computerization in the Bucor, and stop illegal drug trade inside the New Bilibid prison.
My idea really is somebody who's strict disciplinarian and at the same time with a very good understanding of penal laws. So I hope our new Bucor chief in the person of Mr. Bantag would also have that kind of working knowledge of the law, of penal laws.
High-level and widespread corruption are now happening in institutions that should reform lawbreakers. And all eyes are on Bantag as he tries to clean up the Bureau of Corrections and the National Bilibid Prison. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
After appointing a new Bureau of Corrections chief, President Duterte now ordering a total revamp at the agency. Spokesman Salvador Panelo says the president wants all Bucor officials replaced immediately. All career officials will be placed on floating status. Panelo says Bantag will also be given a free hand to bring in his own men. It's all systems go for a diversified conglomerate. San Miguel Corporation will soon begin building the country's newest international gateway in Bulacan. The company also taking the time to address critics' environmental concerns. Makoy Popioco tells us more.
The deal has been sealed and construction may begin as early as the year end. San Miguel Corporation President and COO Ramon Ang is all smiles while signing the contract for the development of a sprawling aeropolis in Bulacan Town, Bulacan Province, the country's most meaningful project. Ang calls the new airport, poised as the country's biggest and most modern international gateway. San Miguel addressed a number of concerns on the massive development project. Some parts of Bulacan Town are regularly flooded during the rainy season, and some critics are worried the development may worsen flooding in the area.
Itong Bulacan Airport nito, isosolve pa natin at the same time ang baha sa Bulacan. Ang sabi ng master planner, yun daw harapan ng Bulacan Airport nito, may at least 150 million cubic meter of garbage. Yun po ang kailangan unang alisin. Pag naalis po yun, mawawala na ng baha ang Bulacan.
Last month, CNN Philippines was given exclusive access to the swampy sitios of Barangay Taliptip in Bulacan, where the 2-hectare airport complex will be built. Over 300 families, mostly composed of fish pond workers, will have to be relocated.
Willing kami, pero dapat nasa maayos na pamumuhay din ang paglilipatan namin. At ayaw namin sa ibang lugar. Gusto din namin dito sa Taliptip.
Pag nag-relocate po kami ng tao, binibigyan namin ng lupa. Binibigyan ho namin ng pera pang tayo ng bahay. At binibigyan ho namin sila ng kabuhayan. At yung mga anak nila, tinutulungan namin makapag-aral.
Now, residents are hoping San Miguel would fulfill its promises. San Miguel is shouldering all construction cost of the new airport, seen as among the solutions to decongesting Metro Manila.
Pagkat kung meron ng Bulacan Airport, meron pang Naiya Airport, kung meron pang Clark, let it be a battle of commercial competitiveness. And if it becomes a battle of commercial competitiveness, who benefits? It is the riding public.
It will have 4 parallel runways, a design that would allow speedier airline movement to avoid congestion. All these will all be finished within 5 years, according to Ang. For faster passenger transit, the airport development also includes a train line and at least 5 airport tollways to Metro Manila.
This will really benefit our people and it will create a lot of business opportunity for Filipino. And also it will bring in so much foreign tourists.
Makoy Popioco, CNN Philippines.
The LRT-1 management apologizing to passengers when a train glass window was shattered earlier today. According to train operator Light Rail Manila Corporation, a male passenger forcibly opened the glass window, causing it to break. 2 passengers were hurt as other passengers were dropped off at the UN Avenue station in Manila. According to a police report, the man tried to open the window because of poor air conditioning. But LRMC countered the claim. In a statement, the management said the air conditioning units are working well. Train security brought the male passenger to the Manila police station for investigation. The train's medical team treated the injured passengers. The train management reminds passengers to follow rules in boarding trains. Still on the LRT-1, the train is known for its seasonal themes. Now the decked cars are back, and this time it's paying tribute to teachers. Our AC Nichols gives us a look.
From the outside, this train car looks ordinary. Inside, though, a surprise awaits passengers. Let's check it out. Wow! These designs.
Traditional tattoo patterns, images of our national heroes, and Filipino riddles. These decked-out train cars feature snippets of Philippine culture and history. The display put Baybayin at front and center. Baybayin is a traditional Filipino writing system.
Biyaheng Maynila,
The initiative aims to recognize teachers, at the same time, educate commuters.
I think it's also important to look at where we came from and what makes us unique as Filipinos, and be proud of it.
It just might be a good idea to start learning baybayin. Some lawmakers are pushing to declare it as the national writing system.
Beautiful designs may not make for an easier commute, but at least on the way to your destination, you'll learn a little more about our history and perhaps even about yourself. AC Nichols, CNN Philippines.
Poverty, malnutrition, hunger, and disease, these are the problems facing this country of more than 100 million people. But many have responded to help solve these issues. Among them, a foundation set up by one of the biggest conglomerates which has launched a community center, a lifeline to the people of Tondo, Manila. Our Sandra Jalcita reports.
This is the reality for children in many parts of the world, including here in the Philippines. A third of Filipino children are stunted, meaning they're short for their age. Another 95 Filipino children die every single day. The reason? Malnutrition. Many of these children are here in Tondo, Manila, one of the poorest districts in the country. Their living conditions and their numbers are alarming, but there's hope. 3 Manileños, proud to be Batang Tondo, came together to show that change is possible when people unite towards a common goal.
Hindi lang kailangan gobyerno ang tutulong sa kanyang kapwa o sa kanyang nasasakupan o sa kanyang kapitbahay. Pati mga pribadong sektor katulad ng San Miguel.
While there's widespread hunger, poverty, and malnutrition, there's also so much food that goes to waste. Enough food to instead be served to those in need. San Miguel Foundation is taking a big step to reduce both food waste and hunger through this new community center, a food bank and a learning institution in one.
Pag pumunta rito yung bata, may ongoing television na pinapakita, educational, kung ano ang pwede nilang pangarap. Para may matutunan sila, para payag silang mag-aral, para payag silang magpa-train. Para sa ganon, habang nag-iisip sila, kumakain din sila mabuti para maging malusog sila.
The concept is the first of its kind in the Philippines. SMC Foundation has partnered with Rise Against Hunger and AHA Learning to bring the idea to life. SMC President and COO Ramon Ang says there's so much more that can be done through collaboration among other companies, organizations, as well as with the government. And this is just the beginning. The center is expected to serve at least 1 million meals every year for the next 10 years. But there's more to the center than putting food on the table.
Dito din ako lumaki.
Manileño rin tayo. Batang Tondo ako, ibinabalik ko naman dito sa lugar na kung saan ako nanggaling.
It's about turning people's lives around. Sandra Jalcita, CNN Philippines.